So hello, I'm here to show how we use Python interface to download data to from the things board to Python to do all the post processes. So here I've got a Windows environment, and I'm trying to first use pyduino to be able to pull the data out. Before we are able to do so, we need to update the pyduino that we have. So here in my system, I've already got pyduino within the system environmental variables. So this can be accessed from this PC, advanced system settings, environmental variables. So you see that I've already defined a variable name called pyduino, and it's in this location. So because this has been there for a while, and pyduino has been updated for a while, so we need to ensure that the pyduino is the updated version. And this could be done by using Git. So here I've got the Git interface. The way to access C drive or even to access this location is by C user, my username, demo, and pyduino. So then I go to demo. Oh, sorry, it's my username, demo, cd pyduino. Now I'm in pyduino, which is master at the moment. So if I use git pull, then I'll be able to pull the latest pyduino into the repository. So now you've seen that it's quite a bit of updating already within the past few years. Now I've got a latest pyduino. Then what we need to do is to find out the specific project to pull the data. So within your demo pyduino, you will find a folder within Python and a TP2CSV. So the TP2CSV has got a script get data that is the script to be able to obtain data from things board. And so because I've already used it before, so you can see that it has got a TP credential JSON file. So if I just open up the file, you will see all the previous commands to show the important information about the locations and also the device IDs and things. So now I'm trying to guide you to get the key information to put in correctly. So here we've got some comments. Keys means the comma separated list of telemetries that will be fetched to Python. Start_tx means that the time step that identifies the start of the interval. So for example, if your project started from 1st of January 2020, then you need to update that accordingly. So currently, let's say our starting time is going to be 2021 March of the 1st from 5 to 3 o'clock p.m. And then the NTS is going to be 2021 April, let's say the 6th, and finish time would be, let's say, 10 a.m. Now start_ts is inserted correctly, and that identifies. NTX is the Unix time step that identifies the end of the intervals. The intervals is actually the aggregation intervals in milliseconds. AGG is aggregation functions. It could be minimum, max, and average, sum, or count, or none. Limit is the maximum number of data points to be returned. So in this case, we can probably just keep the limit into none and see. So I'll save this for now. And then within my Python interface, I'll be able to find out that address. So here we've got demo, and here I can get to the file explorer, and I just need to go to the demo, and then you'll see pyduino. And after pyduino, you've got Python and TP to CSV and get data. So this is the file that we need to work with. Also bear in mind that the current version, the file only works with Python 2. So in that case, we need to use Python 2 rather than Python 3 as shown here. So this could be done by open up. Let me have a look, so how this one works. So this is still Python 3. I'm just trying to figure out how to convert that from Python 3 to Python 2. So, search, edit, restart. I remembered there was, okay, so probably I just go for this. Spider, change to Python 2. And then that will show you. Okay, so tools preferences. And then the next is going to be Python interpreter, which is here. So now here, I think I've only got Python 2.
Executive
Okay, can I have it? Spider 2. So let's have a try on this. Probably works on Python 2, but we need to check. So if we try ThinkSpot to Python, so if I go to pyduino, here's pyduino, and I can go to Python, TP to CSV, get data. And then I could try to see, I've got ThinkSpot to pandas py3, so that is actually already here. So in that case, I probably can just create a getting data for another. Let me have a look. So this is Python 2, yep. And here I've got Python 3. Okay, so we could first use Python 2 rather than Python 3, and then later on check. So I now move to Python 2, and I'll be able to open up the get data. Now, instead of running these commands from beginning to the end, I will need to run it one by one to see how far we have reached. Even before we do that, we first need to ensure we know the ID of the project. And this is done by going to your web page and go to your specific profile, then you find devices, and devices would be piezo test, and then you've got the copy device ID. That's where you need to get the ID of the project. So currently if I try to paste, then you see that's where my ID is, and I need to insert that specific ID here, which is the project, specific project I'm working with, because you don't want to extract data from another project. You need to work with the specific project. Now, after this is done, then I could use Python interface to run the program. So before I run, I can just click at any line by double clicking the number, and then the number. This means that when you run the program will stop there so that you can do the debugging. So if I run now, you will see that, let me have a look. I think it's not running. So if I run file, so what is the, why there is an IPDB though? Okay, so if I import, does import works? Okay, so let me just run it again and see. Missing required dependencies. So NumPy is not installed, which is in line 6, line 5 actually. So NumPy is not installed in version 2. We probably can try then the other version and see whether this one works for it. So again, I put a red dot and run it again. So what does it say? Spider kernels, interactive. Okay, so this is 960. Okay, so this is actually the line. This is the button that will stop the command at 9.8 where the red point is. So from that, then I can just do run current line, and then that will just run one by one. So now I've already run up to 9.14. So the 9.14 is about create a pyduino path. So I use this command to extract the address of pyduino to a Python variables. So now, given that this command has already been executed, I can just copy and paste to Python interface. You can see that basically the pyduino location has been recorded. Now, if I just move further, so the next line is just to print the pyduino directory. So as you can see that it's been printed here already. Now if I just do a few lines further, so this is to just add the post-processing libraries within Python, and I can just click and compile, import, and load them. Let's have a look. Okay, so the print doesn't actually work. Why the print doesn't work though? because the version 2 and version 3 probably has got a bit differences here. So this one worked. This also worked. So I probably just do it here again. So that's 9.8. And I just continue execution until the next breakpoint. And now I wouldn't be able to go beyond that. So basically that says that 96, but that's already all the way down. And how come that's 96? Oh, okay, so it's here. That's far, far away already. But this is not really where the problem gets. So that's module. Okay, so ThinkSpot to Pandas. Okay, so this is something that we need to change because remember, now we are using Python 3. And we need to change it to a new module called py3. So underscore py3. Because we just recently convert these modules into Python 3. So now we can do it again. So I stop all the commands, save it, and run it again. So now it's up here, and then we just do a few more lines. Now it passed. So probably I just do another. Okay, so reload is not defined because now the reload is slightly different. So in that case, I can just hatch that because Python 3 might not have the reload function. So now if I don't have to reload if it's already being imported. So if I just run it again, now I'm already able to move to here. So tb pandas. So if I run that command, I'll be able to get all the data from tb pandas. It's strange that I wouldn't be able to even run a. Okay, so copy and paste. So tb pandas has yet been created. How about if I run it again and see? So where are we? Okay, ThinkSpot pandas. Okay, so that needs to be changed to py3. Yeah, so I also need to do this. And again, this is because we just changed this script from Python 2 to Python 3. Now, if I just keep running, I just run this command again, you will see that I've already passed that, and also the tb pandas has got all the required information. So if I just keep running that, oh, I need to step out. Okay, so that is the individual command that I need to run. Okay, so that has got something wrong again. Hold on, is that Python 2 or Python 3 right now?
It's Python 3.
It's Python 3. Okay, let's run up to here and see why that happens. So TB get token. Yeah, get token doesn't have any issue. Get keys doesn't have any issues, I guess. No, get keys actually didn't work. So that's where it stuck again. Expect values. Okay, we probably have to move to Python 2, but then the Python 2 doesn't have NumPy. List of the keys in the device. Let's have a look at whether the file has got something wrong. Right. I think I know the reason why it didn't work. It's actually because the key and password is not correct. And the password is actually e-watering again, I think. Yeah? Is that correct? So if I do that, then I'll be able to get keys and get data as well. Now, if I try to get keys and get data, I probably can tb pandas dot and this dot might have all the data already. Okay, so if I do the convert data to df, and you see that I'm basically creating the keys for all the files that I've already extracted from there. And I probably can do a quick plot df as well. So let's say I plot SA3UV and S2UV. Then I should be able to get a good result. Okay, future versions will register. Okay, so that means import matplotlib. But I've already done that though.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Because I don't. Right, so in that case, I probably have to plot show block false. So in that case, if I hatch this command and then run it again, and that probably will be able to. So I've already got the data, but I just simply don't have scale 1 and scale 2. And this will be down by, I've already got all the keys, so I probably just do SA3 UV and SA3 VAS. So, well, one of the straightforward way to disable AGG is search the commands so that I'll be able to use that. So in that case, I just say TKAGG rather than AGG. So if I do that and then put this command in, I should be able to get a graph. It's nothing coming up yet. Missing dependency is NumPy again. But I've already done NumPy though. But I've already done NumPy though. Get data. Okay, so this is 2.7. That's why. That's why. Okay, so let's switch off that.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit confusing here. So I'll be able to run this all the way. So they are basically converting the keys. Okay, so what is this command here say? So get data is not
It
working.
should be py3, right? TB pandas py3.
Okay, so that's basically where
Yeah.
the problem comes in. I do the exit first. And I'll be able to do.
Okay.
So that's
Yep.
basically where the result comes from. Now, if we look at all the data, which should be stored in okay, results, df. So that's actually where the JSON files are located. And so if you want to, say, list all the files, then you are able to do this. So that actually shows all the values within the pandas. And you could do, say, pandas result df, for example, wind speed, in this way, right? I could also do SA3, for example, to be able to check the results. So basically all the data comes from the same time. So it's actually every 10 seconds. It's actually every 10 seconds. So the reason that is being converted into 10 seconds per data is because that I used a 10-second limit to interpolate the data. So if I use the UV again, so basically the interpolation has already taken place. It's not the raw data actually. So I think it all depends on what get data is doing. So we probably have a check and see how the get data is doing the work. So this could be done by going to the get data. So given that we are using Python 3, so we probably just use that. So the get data basically shows that if it's all, then they do the list. Or if it's not all, then they just choose the selected keys. And they use start time is going to be 0. And then they use the date time. Okay, then they have the URL data get from here. So the key string is actually so that's to extract the data. And that's where the result comes in. So, okay, result JSON is actually the raw data. So TB10, the result JSON. That basically shows all the raw data. Okay, so it's huge. And it's huge because that basically stores all the TS data values for every single properties. So you see every single data has got a specific TS and values, which is not quite straightforward to use. And that's the reason why we use convert data to DF to make it like a pandas data. And then we can use plot to show the results. And then the next stage is to do some post analysis. And to be able to do some good post analysis, we will need to well organize our existing data so that we've got enough space to be able to plot everything in one graph. I think one of the good way that we should do is to allow the graph to pop out from the window. And this could be done by, say, spider pop out plot window. So it comes with a command. So this is exactly what we are looking for. there is a command. Okay, so they say matplotlib auto. That is going to allow the graph to pop out when we do any analysis. So let's say if I do this again, you'll be able to see that it has an individual graph to pop out, then you can see properly all the data. Now, let's try to use a proper way to display all the data. Here we've got, so basically what we're trying to mock is a video that appears to be like this one, which is also written in Python. So from this graph, you will see that it's very interactive, and it also has got a photo, and you can always correlate the data to the photo to show exactly what is going on. And to be able to do that, we will need to find out a good template. And I've got quite a few templates here. So let's say ColumnPy. So this is the script that helps to produce a good data to show all the results. So usually the one that we are after is called run all. That basically show all the graphs. And then you will see that we've got a video slice, MMTX. So that's probably one of the examples that we will be using. So I just copy it. And it's already here. So it's created 3 years ago. Now, so basically this will be an example of our slides. So before we do that, we probably choose a good sets of images. So to be able to do that, we need to log into your account. So can you just put your password? So in this interface, we will have it hasn't been loaded properly yet. So later on, you've got web and outbox, and we will get our on-site images. So let's say SA3 is the best. And we probably try to get all the photos taken at 10 o'clock every day, so that I can put all the graphs. So that could be a good time. So let's do all the 10 a.m.s. 10 a.m., 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 10 a.m. Okay, so that's all the 10 a.m. photos. And we can put them into our our photo photo folder. So what we try to do here is we need to allow this to be open for, always use that to open up JPG files. So we want to stitch all those photos all together to be able to generate a decent videos. Okay. So to be able to do that, so now this is in a remote computer. I can just minimize it, but you can see that from my own computer, I also have got groups, Wheeler, instrumentation, MDB, and Photo SA3, which shows all the images. So basically, this is the location of all the photos. Right, I'll record this into a separate Python code. So I'll create an empty one and paste it here. And then we need to make use of the template that we have before to be able to process all the photo images. So I copied everything here first, and I need to hatch that because this is not a proper commands yet. And so I probably just finish here by now. And I also need to have this bit of code into the files. Yep, so it's already up here. Now, path. So now let's copy this bit into the code. It's just to load some of the basic commands. And then I could change this to SA, that's the schedule name. And I'll be able to I don't need this one anymore because that was the old version. Instead, I could put my photo path into the credential address, correct? So I would probably just add another one called photo path, and the photo path will be at TB pandas. I think it's we previously used a JSON file, and that's here. So SP input photo path. Yeah, so But remember that we just updated the JSON file. So I first need to save this. So let's put this one properly. So that's here. But probably we need to use the double slash because that's basically what Python recognizes, all the subfolders. We can give it a try. Now, before we are able to use the photo path, we have to reload the schedule. Data file, not data file, it's actually the one before, which is TB credential. JSON. So that's actually here. So we have to do number 2, let's say. Why this one is not working? Okay, oh, so this one doesn't have a delimiter in the very end. So this one doesn't have a delimiter. Now, if I run this command again, you will see that the TB pandas 2 has got a input JSON file, and that will show the photo path is here. And now, if given that we've already have that, we can put this as TB pandas 2. Yeah, photo path. So that's basically the location of it. So then in that case, we can run that command. Okay, so things brought to oh, okay, so this one is not. It's actually JSON file. Let me have a look. So that shows the result is input JSON. So input JSON. So that's actually where the location is. Okay, so if I run this command, then I'll be able to get a path IM. Similar to that. Now, if I use this, then I probably will be able to get a list of files in that folder. And then I can sort the files . So this one would be a slightly difference between the two different versions of files. Do we actually have see, A actually doesn't really have any files inside. I And that's probably the reason why it didn't work. So then we need to double check the path IM to see whether that is proper for these. So in that case, I probably will double check from the previous. So let's see what this one looks like, because it's a very, very good example. So this is actually the correct way of writing addresses in Python. But do we have G, Wheeler, Instrumentation, MDB, Photo SA3? Let's try that. In any browser. So it does have a good connections to the file, but then the issue is that somehow this one didn't work. Probably copy this and see what does BBB looks like. Okay, I see the problem, because it doesn't have a slash in the very end. So in that case, I need to add 2 extra slashes here. And then I have to regenerate the JSON file, which is being done by these. And still it doesn't have that. No, it's still not that one. Let's do that. Let's do get data. And then I'll do this one for now again. DB pandas. And again, number 2. And the reason, well, probably I can take this opportunity to rerun all the commands. So then I'll basically run the whole thing, run file. So it seems to be fine right now. Okay, so then I'll use the this one. So I don't need the number 2 here anymore. And I'll be able to basically copy the whole thing like that. So path IM, which is all the path, looks right. And then I can use these so it has got all the file names already, but for whatever reasons the sort seemed not working. Okay, so the filter, so this command is not compatible anymore to Python 3. But let's just bypass that one. And the reason that I need to do that is because I want to re-list those files, reorder the files. Okay, so files sort by time. Python. I have to say Python 3. So now it becomes slightly different. So probably I can do that. File sort, or can I try that? So path. But I don't really have path though. Ah, okay, so it's here. So I need to run this command. So you see the Python 2 and Python 3 has got some very, very large change. Okay, so that's the directory path. And then the directory path is able to be changed by the new path im. Give a try again and see what happens. There you go. So then, and it's being properly sorted by time. Okay, so in that case, I need to update this command to a new command here, and the Python 2 command doesn't work. But then how can I get the file name list though? Does that files? So does that mean that I need to change this to path? So paths. So probably give it a try on that and see whether the file name. So okay, so Windows path. So can I do that? Okay, so I need to do that. stri. So this just show all the file names. So that's actually the individual file names. Now we've got all the file names ready, and I just keep on copying it really. So we've already done here, and that's just some matplotlib libraries. So I probably just copy the whole thing, and we can change them as we go. Copy, paste. Now this is just the matplotlib input variables. Now we need to do the whole thing here. So I'll probably copy just a little bit rather than the whole thing. Copy, because that's the big for loop to create all the individual files. I probably just do, say, from 0 to 3. So we just run 3 loops rather than the whole loops. So we can see that if I do that, it's just the first 3 files really. I don't have to do all of them. And then I could do image read, probably, let's say II is equal to file name 0. It's just like problem check really. So let's say we just do 1 rather than so many. Even easier, I'll say that II is II is equal to file name 0, so that I can do the individual check for the script. I could do the image read. It doesn't work. No such file or directory. Because right. So I need to change this II. This is the this is being repeated. So I need to do that because G has got twice. So now I can do that. And I could also get the data when the picture is being taken. So that's actually taken by March of 17th at 10 o'clock. And I could get also the time when it is when the latest data is being captured. So this one is not really the reason we need to do that is because when you do the video, when you do this video at this specific time, you're not showing all the data.
Yep.
You are showing that data that has already been you are just showing the moment when what the data looks like. So that point is very important. But probably we can ignore that for now. Because I think the better way of showing the data is to show the whole thing and then use the vertical line to indicate where is the time. Then I can use a few commands. To show the graph. So let me have a look. I have one example that is here, and I probably can get another example. We just got so many examples like that. So one of the one that has been regularly Daisy QL is 2 years ago. Stanwell is 11 months ago. QL is 10 months ago. Stanwell is 9 months ago. So probably we just use Stanwell and Python. And I can get from run all again to see which one is actually to plot the videos. Plot weather, plot Stanwell. Okay, so this is the plot Stanwell with video. So I'll say that plot Stanwell video. Okay, so that is actually vertical line. So the slightly difference between this and this is that this one does not show the things that didn't happen. But the other way we can do it is that we use a vertical line like this to indicate the moment when it's taking place. So similar to that. So basically the vertical line shows the moment when the picture is being taken, which is better because you can see, you don't have to hide this area at all. Yeah. So V-line is the best. So if that's the case, then we could stick into the V-line rather than the video line. Okay, so we just probably, copy the majority of, you see this one is pretty much similar. Okay, then, okay, so now we've got, let's say we copy this bit. So that's to give a space for subplot. Yeah. So we've got, let's say, 6 graphs, but we probably can take more if we want to. And this is to just adjust the horizontal and vertical spaces in between these graphs. And now it's to plot data. Let's have a look. Okay, so AX1 is the bar chart. Why there is X1 and AX2? Oh, because they actually have 2 sub graphs. And so then we can do something similar to that. Yeah. We can do, we just do an AX1 really. Is that still recording? I hope so. Okay, so that's good. So that you can use my way to. So AX0. And we probably just we use this as a master graph. But before we do that, we need to have a very simple one first. Okay, so then for this particular one, what we're gonna do is we will have TB pandas. Data result JSON. So that is basically give you a pandas, not result JSON, actually result the DF, which is a panel data. And the panel data, within the panel data, you could use list to be able to see which one you are going to look for. So probably we can first get, let's call P2 CS451, right? And also, I think the time is being recorded by index. I think so. Not index. Then it should be daytime. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so that's actually wind speed, wind directions. Okay, let's do a list. Probably list will tell you which one is going to show. because we need to find out where the time is being stored. TMP6. Okay, so TS is actually the time. Is that TM? So probably I have to do this. So it has to be temp6 and then TX. That actually show. Not really. So let's do temp6. So that has got TS. Because we need to find out the x-axis and the y-axis. Index. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, name is TS, but why can't I just use TX to be able to access it? That's very strange. This might work. Okay, how about value? Value is okay, but TX doesn't work. So index works. So in that case, I can just do I can do that. Is that? I might just check whether this is okay. It doesn't have that, see? I need to write exactly the right thing. So the way of checking all the titles are here.
It's the TS.
Okay, T1.
What is T1?
So let's say SA2 P. Okay, let's do SA3 UV instead. Say SA2 UV, because that's relatively easy to play around with. Value. Now, if I run this command together with all these things, I should be able to create a graph. It doesn't show though. Does that show? Yes, see, that's actually the UV. And so that's actually the very first graph. So then in this case, I will need to put a result show, plot show at the very end of the loop. So I can do A0 like this. I could do A1 for something else. So probably I can do A1 as so say SA2 temperature. SA2 temperature as well. So now if I save it, run it again, then I'll be able to do something similar to that. I could also zoom in and see in particular whether the graph makes sense. So this is actually the temperature fluctuations. Now let's try to put the graph on the other side. We've just got two figures, see? That's the reason why I need to get rid of this guy, because it always shows two graphs. We've already loaded the IM time, so we want to show that in the photo. So I just need to say this, AX image IM show. At the very end, in the untitled file. So probably here, get rid of the indentations. We need to say AX IMG. We need to define that. So to be able to define that, we need to find out where it is being claimed. Okay, so let's do that. Now, if let's do that and then run it again, you'll be able to see something like that. Okay, so that's basically a very crude way to figure out that. So we can further improve it by, let's say, set yx. So our database might have, so that's basically the way, set ylim. So because the current temperature range is a bit too big, so we can put this here. So say AX1 is equal to a dot set ylim. Let's say this would be 5 degrees to 40 degrees only. And then I can save it, run it again, and that makes much better. Yeah. So that's basically the start, and then the goal is to make an animation. So in that case, we need to have multiple files to be able to create it, and this will be done by save the graph into individual file. So the individual file would be saved using a name, copy, and paste. So So we're gonna paste it to here, let's say. So the output name has not been defined. So let's say, how about II? What does II here do? So II is actually the whole thing, which is not good. So we probably just try to split by the dash, by the slash, and choose the very last one, probably like that. Okay, so and then I just choose the very last one, which is -1. Yeah, so that is a perfect file name. So I just copy this to here. And then I try to increase that number into 5, let's say. Then I can run it. And then you will see that these files are being created. So we could go to the CSV file. You will see this has been generated individually, different files, and later on you can just make it better. So that's probably basically a very crude way to display how we can get data from ThinkSpot and to Python version 3, and then use Python to produce a decent video that shows not only the data but also the on-site images, and that's about it.